Hello, my name is Natalia, and I'm a person who eats meat. Only meat. Nothing but meat. And all because my mother scoffs at me throughout my life. I don't remember myself in childhood, so I can't say whether it's always been like that. But from the age of 5, I know for sure that on our dining table, there was always hated meat. And that was the only thing I was allowed to eat. My dad preferred not to eat with us for an obvious reason. He was lucky. He was a military man, and he only came home to sleep at night and spent the rest of the time in the barracks. He ate there, according to the regimen and schedule. But Mom, the fact is that Mom had no restrictions on food. She can eat whatever she wants, for example, fruits or sweets. The truth is very tricky. She buys one thing, like one apple or a couple of sweets, and then eats them. She doesn't even hide the candy wrappers and leaves them in the bin. And her usual diet is porridge. Usually rice porridge, but maybe some other. I don't understand much about the kinds of it. I was dreaming to try porridge, at least once. You see, right? Not even a cake or oranges, but just porridge. The most usual, that one, that other kids hated. But my mom totally forbade me to do this, and she set the plate with another steak to me. By 12, I had learned to distinguish all sorts of meat in taste and smell. Usually it was pork, but sometimes lamb, beef, or something exotic like bear meat or elk came across. It was when Dad went hunting and got lucky. Do not get me wrong, I wasn't silent about that. I talked about my situation at school with a psychologist and our form master, with the cooks in the dining room, but my mom told them all, maybe even paid money, because even in the dining room, I still had a special menu. As you know, pocket money was also not given to me, so there would be no temptation. Once I decided to go for a trick, secretly in the schoolyard during the break, I exchanged meat on a chocolate muffin with my friend. But unfortunately, our plan was quickly revealed. The funny thing was that the high school students who smoked in that place told them about us. And they were not punished, but both of us got all the stuff. The teacher also said I was already old enough to understand I shouldn't play tricks with my health, but was I really all right? Nothing hurt. I didn't complain about anything except for a poor diet. All my problems were more psychological than physical. It seemed like just a shame why all the kids got everything. A cake, an apple, and a glass of milk, and I had meat only. In all types and methods of preparation, but only meat. Honestly, I even contacted the guardianship service. I called there secretly at night from my cell so that Mom wouldn't accidentally catch me. But the guardianship service, which actually should track the cases of abuse, told me that I had made up this story or just don't know anything. And what I couldn't know? That my mom had problems with her head. That she is ready to spend a lot of money to poke me with another piece of meat. Even up to taking a loan from the bank, because Dad's salary was not enough. And all this, instead of just giving me a normal breakfast. I really did not understand. I didn't understand why adults allow this to happen to me. The girl from our school, who once came with a bruise on her arm and complained that her stepfather did it, was nearly taken to a foster family. And Mom scoffed at me for years, and nothing. At 16, when I finally realized that nothing will change and nobody needs me, I decided to run away. I had no money with me, not even minimum pocket money, so I was supposed to leave light. I packed my school bag, folded my clothes there for the first time, the remnants of dinner, and my toothbrush, and jumped out the window at night. I didn't know what I was hoping for with such a brilliant plan. Only my escape lasted until the very first turn under the bridge. To be exact, it was not my plan. Just the headlights of a police car flashed ahead, and I jumped to the safest place. Well, as it seemed to me then, that's how I met the local clochards and their habits. At first they wanted to beat me, but then, after I got the food out, they even allowed me to warm myself near the barrel and put a piece of bread in my hand. I just didn't have the time to bite off a piece and enjoy its unusual taste when darkness fell. I woke up already in the hospital, with a terrible pain in my stomach and the understanding that happiness cannot be eternal. Mom was sitting next to me holding my hand, and from my stomach stretched some strange tube from which liquid came. And I myself also looked terrible. It turned out that I was found by the police, who came to the noise, Clochards was sharing my backpack while I was unconscious. And then they put me in an ambulance and brought me to the hospital. And when I got well, they locked me up at home and did not even go to school. The teachers worked remotely with me. They said that it was because of my health problems, but I was not sick. I'm locked up now. There are bars on my windows, and the only way to get in touch with the world is my laptop and Wi-Fi. I hope that someday the situation will change for the better. Well, or my next escape will be more successful.
I'm Natalie's mother, and I want to tell you my version of what's happening. The fact is that Natalie doesn't really know everything, but I just don't know how to tell the kid that she's terminally ill. Natalie was born extremely weak, so that the doctors were afraid that she would not live even a month. She could not drink breast milk, and therefore experimentally, we turned to a special mixture, which practically consisted of protein and a special solution, where the patient was dripped in a coma. And up to 2 years, until her normal teeth appeared, she ate this. Any attempts to give Natalie something else ended in a hospital ward. Her body rejected fiber, did not tolerate lactose, fell into a coma from the slightest trace of gluten or sugar. We had no choice but to transfer her to a completely meat diet, a lack of vitamins to fill in with vitamins. At the age of 5, after my girl was treated with a cake at a kid's party, Natalie got into her first coma. She was on the verge of 4 days, and doctors' predictions were terrible. But everything worked out. Though she had something like amnesia, she absolutely didn't remember what she was doing before she fell unconscious. Well, that happened for the best. There is no need for a small kid to remember this. Unfortunately, it is impossible to explain to a small kid that she can't have sweets or just whatever she wants. Therefore, I had to limit her communication with other kids. Of course, at school, all the teachers and cooks knew about our special menu. So for at least half a day, I knew that Natalie was in good hands. But at school, there were some incidents. A couple of times, the teachers managed to take the wrong food from her, and once, they didn't. And again, a coma, this time for 3 days, and managed to promptly induce vomiting and clear the stomach of a piece of banana in it. Of course, Natalie's diet didn't apply to me and my husband. First, because meat is very expensive, and we simply have no money to feed the whole family with it. And second, we are adults, healthy people. My husband is constantly busy with physical activities, and he needs another, also special diet. It's easier with me, so I save the maximum on myself. A bag of rice costs a couple of dollars, and it's enough for a month. That's how we live. We work for food, just so Natalie would stay alive. But she doesn't understand this and accuses us of scoffing at her and torturing. She thinks I don't know about her calls to the guardianship service, the complaints to the teacher, but I know. And I cry at night from the fact that I can't explain to my daughter how much I love her. Rather, I told her, and her dad did, and her attending physician repeated that meat is the only way to live for her. But she didn't listen to us. She thought that we were all sadists and specifically tormented her. We can't make her understand that if nothing hurts, it doesn't mean that she's okay. When she escaped, I thought I was going to die. I just stood on the stoop and didn't know if I would ever see my girl again. I was sure that Natalie would definitely try something new. And if there is no person next to her who understands what is happening and manages to call an ambulance, I was afraid to think about it. I just cowardly prayed and believed in the best. The moment I got a call from the hospital, got rid of my torment. My girl was alive and even practically okay, in a coma, after emergency surgery on the stomach, but alive, and with a good prognosis. That was enough for me. After this story, my husband and I used extreme measures and decided to turn our daughter to homeschooling. We tried to explain that this was for her own good, and that in any other scenario, she could die at any time. Or worse, lose her identity. Because a coma is not a trip to a sanatorium, and the brain is damaged due to the lack of oxygen. But Natalie does not hear us. Now, she sits in her room and hates the whole world with us at the head of all. So be it. But my daughter will live, and over time, she may pay attention to our words and advice from the doctor. I believe that everything will be okay. It is necessary to wait for a while for this, and that over time, her hatred to us will transform into the same love that we all have for her.
Write your opinion about this story in the comments. Who is to blame, mom or daughter? Do you think they understand and can hear each other? Share the story with those who also have problems with their parents, and learn to listen to what they say to you. It is extremely beneficial for your health.